Imagine forgiving your own mother for the most shocking lie imaginable, letting you believe she was dead. Most people would never recover from that kind of betrayal. Yet somehow Daniel and Summer found a way forward. They chose forgiveness. They chose family. But now, something even worse may have happened. For months, viewers watched Daniel and Summer struggle through the aftermath of Phyllis's fake death scheme. Pain was raw. The anger was explosive. Trust had been shattered into pieces. Yet over time, the wounds slowly began to heal. Or at least that's what everyone thought. Phyllis worked tirelessly to repair the damage. She apologized. She explained herself. She promised she had learned from her mistakes. Daniel wanted peace. Summer wanted stability. Neither wanted to spend their lives trapped in resentment. But forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. That's what makes the current situation so fascinating. If Daniel and Summer survived the fake death scandal, what could possibly be serious enough to push them away now? What line could Phyllis cross that would finally be unforgivable? The answer may be hiding in plain sight. And before we go further, if you love dramatic Y&R breakdowns and shocking soap twists, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with fellow fans. Because the mystery we're about to uncover changes everything. One thing has always defined Phyllis. It's not her intelligence. It's not her determination. It's her inability to stay out of situations she believes she can control. And that dangerous pattern may be returning at the worst possible moment. Daniel has spent years trying to establish a life separate from his mother's chaos. Every time he gained stability, another crisis seemed to appear. Every time he found peace, another storm followed. Was history preparing to repeat itself once again? Summer faces a similar dilemma. She loves her mother deeply. Nobody doubts that. But love doesn't erase consequences. Love doesn't automatically restore confidence. And lately, confidence may be exactly what's disappearing. The troubling signs didn't arrive all at once. Instead, they appeared in small moments. A strange decision, questionable choice, an action that seemed harmless on the surface. But small cracks can bring down entire foundations. That's when fans started asking an uncomfortable question. What if the fake death scandal wasn't actually the lowest point? What if it was merely the beginning of a much larger problem? The possibility sent shockwaves through Genoa City. Here's where things become truly complicated. Daniel forgave Phyllis because he believed she understood the damage she'd caused. Growth was supposed to follow pain. Lessons were supposed to be learned. But what happens when old habits refuse to stay buried? Twist number 1 arrived quietly. Instead of moving away from drama, Phyllis appeared drawn toward it again. The same instincts that once created disaster started surfacing. The same confidence. The same recklessness. And Daniel couldn't ignore it anymore. Imagine standing in Daniel's shoes. You forgive the unimaginable. You offer a second chance. You rebuild a broken relationship. Then suddenly you realize the person you forgave may not have changed at all. That realization hits harder than betrayal itself. Summer found herself caught in the middle. Protecting her mother felt natural. Protecting her own emotional well-being felt necessary. How could she choose between those two realities? The answer wasn't as simple as anyone hoped. Then came twist number 2. The issue wasn't necessarily a single mistake. It was the pattern behind it. Patterns reveal character. Patterns expose truth. And some truths are impossible to ignore forever. Phyllis has always believed she knows best. Even when others disagree. Even when warnings surround her. Even when the consequences become obvious. Could that mindset finally be costing her the people she loves most? The deeper Daniel looked, the more concerned he became. He wasn't seeing isolated incidents. He was seeing familiar warning signs. Signals he'd witnessed before. Signals that once led directly to disaster. Trust operates differently than forgiveness. Forgiveness can happen in a moment. Trust requires countless moments, takes years to build, and only seconds to destroy. That's when everything started unraveling. For Summer, the situation became deeply personal. She had defended her mother repeatedly. She had stood beside her during criticism. She had believed redemption was possible. But what if redemption wasn't actually happening? A frightening possibility emerged. Maybe Daniel and Summer weren't reacting to one event. Maybe they were reacting to accumulated disappointment. 1,000 small wounds finally becoming impossible to ignore. And that's a very different kind of breaking point. Twist number 3 changed the entire narrative. The problem may never have been the fake death itself. The problem may have been what came after. Because a shocking mistake can be forgiven, repeated behavior is much harder to excuse. Think about that for a second. The fake death was dramatic. The fake death was outrageous. The fake death was unforgettable. Yet it came with remorse and accountability. What happens when accountability begins to fade? Daniel started asking questions he never wanted to ask. Can people truly change? Can trust ever fully return? And perhaps most painfully, was he setting himself up for heartbreak again? Meanwhile, Summer faced her own emotional crossroads. Every daughter wants to believe in her mother. Every daughter wants a happy ending. But reality doesn't always cooperate with hope. And reality was becoming increasingly difficult to avoid. Around them, relationships grew more fragile. Tensions increased. Conversations became cautious. The emotional distance widened. Nobody wanted to admit where things were heading, but everyone could feel it coming. Then came the realization that shook everything. Forgiveness isn't permission. Forgiveness doesn't erase future responsibility. And forgiveness doesn't guarantee unlimited chances. That distinction changed the entire equation. For years, Phyllis survived because people kept giving her another opportunity. Another explanation. Another benefit of the doubt. Another path back into their lives. But every supply eventually runs out. The tragedy is that nobody wanted this outcome. Not Daniel. Not Summer. Not even Phyllis herself. Yet sometimes the consequences of past actions arrive much later than expected. And they often arrive without warning. As tensions reached their peak, one haunting truth emerged. The fake death wasn't the final test. It was merely the biggest test. The final test may be whether trust can survive repeated disappointments. And that answer remains uncertain. The mind-blowing revelation isn't that Daniel and Summer forgave Phyllis. It's understanding why this moment feels different. For the first time, they may not be questioning what she did. They may be questioning who she is. And that's a far more dangerous place to be. Now the future hangs in the balance. Can Phyllis prove that she's truly changed before it's too late? Will Daniel and Summer find a reason to believe again? Or has the real damage only just begun? Because if this truly is their breaking point, what happens next could permanently transform the Newman and Abbott worlds forever. And nobody is prepared for the answer. As the dust settles, another uncomfortable question begins to surface. What if Daniel and Summer aren't the only ones losing faith in Phyllis? Across Genoa City, people have watched this cycle repeat itself for years. The promises, the regrets, the fresh starts, and some are no longer convinced the ending will be different. That's what makes this situation so dangerous. Person can survive one damaged relationship, maybe even two. But when doubt starts spreading everywhere, isolation follows close behind. Was Phyllis about to discover what life looks like without allies? The answer may be closer than she realizes. For Daniel, the conflict becomes impossible to escape. Part of him still sees the mother who fought for him, the mother who protected him, the mother who genuinely loves her family. But another part sees a pattern he can no longer explain away. And that internal battle creates a painful dilemma. How do you walk away from someone you love? How do you stay when staying keeps hurting you? Neither choice feels right. Yet one decision may soon become unavoidable. Meanwhile, Summer notices something alarming. Every conversation seems to circle back to the same issue. Different circumstances, different conflicts, different people, but somehow the outcome always feels familiar. And that realization sends a chill down her spine. Then a new possibility emerges. What if Phyllis isn't intentionally causing damage? What if she truly believes she's helping? Sometimes the most dangerous mistakes come from good intentions. And that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because people rarely see themselves as the villain. In their own minds, they're the hero, the protector, the problem solver. Could Phyllis be trapped inside that exact mindset? Nobody wanted to consider it, but the evidence kept growing. Daniel starts looking at the past differently. Not just the fake death. Not just recent events. Everything. One memory after another begins fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. And the picture forming is deeply unsettling. Suddenly, moments that once seemed unrelated take on new meaning. Old arguments, broken trust, repeated conflicts. What if these weren't separate incidents at all? What if they were chapters of the same story? That's when a shocking theory begins to form. The theory is simple. The fake death wasn't an exception. It was an escalation. A dramatic version of behaviors that had existed for years. And if that's true, the implications are enormous. For Summer, this realization feels like a punch to the heart. Because accepting it means reevaluating everything. Every apology, every reconciliation, every promise that things would be different. What if she had been ignoring the warning signs all along? Yet despite everything, neither Daniel nor Summer wants to give up. That's the heartbreaking part. This isn't a story about hatred. It's a story about exhaustion. And emotional exhaustion can be far more powerful than anger. Then another twist enters the picture. What if Phyllis senses what's happening? What if she already knows her children are pulling away? People act unpredictably when they fear losing those they love. And fear can drive desperate decisions. Imagine the pressure building inside her. The relationships she fought to save are slipping again. The trust she struggled to rebuild is weakening. The future feels uncertain. Would she finally change course? Or would panic make everything worse? That's when observers begin noticing something unusual. Phyllis appears increasingly determined to prove herself, fix things, to regain control. But sometimes trying too hard creates new problems. And those problems may be arriving sooner than expected. Daniel sees the warning signs immediately. He's witnessed this pattern before. A crisis appears. Phyllis rushes in to solve it. Her involvement creates even more complications. Could history really be repeating itself yet again? If so, the consequences could be devastating. Because second chances are valuable, third chances are rare, and fourth chances, those are almost impossible to find. That's the reality now hanging over every interaction. Summer begins asking herself a question she never imagined she'd face. What does healthy distance look like? Not abandonment, not rejection, just boundaries. And boundaries may become the most important word in this entire story. For Phyllis, however, boundaries have never come naturally. She fights, she intervenes, she refuses to quit. Those qualities once made her admirable. Now they may be threatening everything she holds dear. As tensions continue rising, one final mystery remains unanswered. Will this crisis become the moment Phyllis finally changes? Or will it become the moment Daniel and Summer decide they've had enough? Because the next choice made by any member of this family could alter their future forever. And if that happens, the fallout won't stop with Phyllis. It will spread across Genoa City in ways nobody sees coming. Just when it seems the situation can't become more complicated, another layer of the mystery begins to emerge. Because this story isn't only about Phyllis. It's about the emotional scars left behind. Scars that never completely healed. And some wounds may be reopening right now. Daniel has spent years trying to move forward. New goals, new relationships, new opportunities. But every time family drama explodes, he's pulled back into the same painful cycle. How much longer can one person keep carrying that burden? The troubling part is that nobody can point to a single explosive event. There wasn't one shocking moment. There wasn't one unforgivable betrayal. Instead, it feels like years of frustration finally reaching a tipping point. And tipping points change everything. Summer starts noticing something she never expected. The trust isn't disappearing overnight. It's fading quietly. A little less confidence here. A little more doubt there. Until suddenly, the relationship feels completely different. And that's the frightening part. Because trust rarely collapses all at once. It erodes, slowly, silently, almost invisibly. By the time people realize what's happening, the damage is often far worse than anyone imagined. Meanwhile, Phyllis may not fully understand the danger she's facing. From her perspective, she's fighting for her family. She's protecting the people she loves. She's doing what she's always done. But what if that's exactly the problem? For years, Phyllis has relied on force of personality. If a door closes, she pushes harder. If someone resists, she argues louder. If a situation becomes complicated, she dives deeper. But some problems can't be solved through determination alone. Daniel begins recognizing a painful truth. Love cannot fix everything. Love cannot erase consequences. Love cannot magically rebuild confidence after repeated disappointments. And accepting that reality may be his hardest challenge yet. Then comes a moment of clarity. What if forgiveness was never the destination? What if forgiveness was only the beginning? The real challenge was always going to be rebuilding trust. And that's where the entire process may be falling apart. Think about how remarkable this is. Daniel forgave a fake death. Summer forgave a fake death. Most families would never recover from something that extreme. Yet somehow they did. Which makes the current situation even more alarming. Because if this hurts more than the fake death scandal, the issue must run much deeper. It's no longer about one outrageous choice. It's about confidence in the future. Can they truly believe tomorrow will be different from yesterday? That question refuses to go away. As doubts grow stronger, old memories return. Broken promises, repeated patterns, missed opportunities to change. Each memory becomes another piece of evidence. And the evidence keeps piling up. Summer finds herself standing at an emotional crossroads. One path leads toward loyalty. The other leads toward self-preservation. Neither path feels fair. Yet eventually, every difficult choice demands an answer. Daniel faces a similar struggle. He doesn't want distance from his mother. He doesn't want conflict. He doesn't want another family crisis. But wanting something and achieving it are two very different things. Then comes perhaps the biggest twist of all. What if Phyllis is fighting the wrong battle? What if she's focused on defending herself when she should be listening? Sometimes the strongest move isn't action. Sometimes it's understanding. And that lesson may arrive too late. The tragedy is almost impossible to ignore. Phyllis survived public judgment. She survived scandal. She survived countless enemies. Yet the challenge threatening her now comes from the people she loves most. And that makes it infinitely more painful. As the pressure builds, everyone involved begins changing. Daniel becomes more cautious. Summer becomes more guarded. Phyllis becomes more desperate. 3 different reactions. One dangerous situation. And the collision course is becoming unavoidable. Nobody in Genoa City can predict how this ends. Will reconciliation prevail? Will distance become permanent? Will another shocking event force everyone back together? Every possibility remains on the table. And that's what makes the suspense unbearable. One thing, however, seems increasingly clear. This isn't simply another family disagreement. This feels bigger, more personal, more defining. The kind of conflict that leaves permanent marks long after it's over. Now the future of this family hangs by a thread. Daniel and Summer have already proven they can forgive the unimaginable. But can they continue believing in someone whose actions keep raising the same painful questions? And perhaps the most haunting mystery of all. If this truly is Phyllis's breaking point with her children, what shocking move will she make next to stop them from walking away forever? Because the answer could become the next explosive chapter in Genoa City. And nobody is ready for what